Let's do some basic 3D modeling with a free app called Sketchup. So do a Google search for Sketchup free and find the one that says Sketchup for web, and that'll allow you to work right on the internet through your web browser. Click Start Modeling. Now I have an account set up already, but if you don't, it's going to ask you to sign in. You can sign in with your Google account. And I have a few models I've been playing around with here, but I'm going to open up a new one. So this is what it's going to look like, the interface, when you first open it up. You do have a blue line which represents the vertical axis, a red line that represents the horizontal axis, and a green line that goes back there to what you would call the vanishing point. Spend a few seconds exploring some of the menus and toolbars in the left and right and the upper left corner. What you're going to want to get used to is some of the viewing tools on the bottom of the toolbar on the left. This is the orbit tool that allows you to kind of rotate around in 360 degrees. The figure there, her name is Helen, and she's there for scale purposes, so you get an idea how big you're building. Over in the left toolbar here, we're going to use the shape tool, the simple rectangular tool. If it's blue, it's going to draw on the ground. If it's green, it's going to draw vertically. So I'm going to go ahead with the blue here, draw a simple rectangle on the ground. And then over here, in about the middle of the toolbar, you're going to find the push-pull tool. Now this is where the magic happens. You just grab a surface and pull it up, and that'll help, or that'll create a three-dimensional cube for you here from that original rectangular shape. You can use that tool to grab surfaces at any time and push and pull them in to enlarge or change the shape of the form that you created. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and use that shape tool again and draw on the front surface of the object I already created. And then going back over to the toolbar, I'm going to get the small arrow, which is your selection tool. Select that and simply hit delete on my keyboard, which now allows me to see inside of the form. Again, I'm going to pull out that front wall a little bit just to get some thickness on that wall. And you can even draw rounded surface objects using the ellipse tool. Now SketchUp, believe it or not, does not work well with curved surfaces, so those cylinders are actually made up of many small flat surfaces. Now you can also use the pencil tool to freehand draw a shape. As long as you close that shape in its entirety and it fills solid, you'll be able to use the push and pull tool on that. Now over in the right hand toolbar, I'm going to go to an area in the middle there called Materials, and in Materials, if I go under the magnifying glass icon, I can search all kinds of textures and materials and then go into my objects using the fill bucket and apply those textures immediately. So the freeform object is good for maybe some vegetation, but go ahead and scroll through there and experiment with some of those materials that you can put on. Don't forget to orbit around your objects, making sure to get all surfaces since it is a three-dimensional model, not 2D. Some other options over here in the right toolbar are Xing out or eyeballing out some of the guides, which is good for screenshots later. And probably one of the more fun tools is the shadows, which allows you to actually control the time of day and time of year and see how those shadows affect your objects. This is the fog tool, so you can bring in some fog if you want to soften that background and even apply a little color in the background. You also have another option over here. Using your selection tool in the left-hand toolbar, you can draw a box around objects to select it in its entirety, and then using the 4 arrows, you can grab that object and move it around in the area that you've created, which could be quite helpful. Next over here in the right toolbar, we're going to go into something called Styles, which allows you to change the look of your models with one button click. So in here you're going to see all kinds of options depending what kind of final look you want to your model. Simply click on those and get a little bit of a preview of what your model might look like in some of these different styles. So once you've found a style that you like, go ahead and screenshot that. You can use that in other applications. Now I'm going to show you just a few other models I was playing around with. I'll orbit around a little bit so you can get a few different views here. You know, you can do everything from close-up objects. These were hand-constructed block letters here. And you can even go as far as doing full cityscapes, which allow you to kind of move in and out there and get a whole selection of different views and different angles. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Get on there on that SketchUp and see what you can create.